Hello, this is Stormcloud SC2 and I'm going to be casting Game 2 between aTnSocke and LiquidRet. LiquidRet again will be spawning as a Zerg player, and of course Socke will be the Protoss player again. Right now we're seeing fairly standard openings between both of them. Of course we're only about 3 seconds into the game, actually 33. We're not going to be seeing a 6-pull unfortunately from Ret. From aTnSocke we're going to be seeing a pylon right now. And in the same fashion, we're probably going to... Yep, we have an Overlord from LiquidRet. These are both standard timings. Ret, since they have close spawning positions by air, Ret is going to be able to scout Socke very quickly just by sending that Overlord over. Thankfully, Socke will be able to scout him very easily too, because generally that's where players send their probe, their scouting probe to first, is to the closest position. And also on this map, you're never going to be in close spawning positions. That's just the way that Blizzard and all tournaments have set it up, just because the rush distance is too close. So you know, say if you spawn here for example, you know that your opponent will be on one of these two opposite sides. So that is how Ret knew how to scout this base, and in the same way that Socke knew to scout this base. So they're both going to be scouting and seeing that their opponent's not really doing anything too unique. Looks like Socke again is going to be trying to block this expansion. It seems like that's something that he's fond of doing. We have a gateway going down for our Protoss player, and then we have a gas right after, which is very standard timing. We are having non-stop probe production. We have our spawning pool coming down for Ret. We have good saturation. Neither of them are supply blocked. Oh. And we're going to see pylons and an Overlord coming down from both of them very soon. Just so that they don't get supply blocked. See that we have a pylon for the Protoss player, and then we have a spawning pool almost finishing, and we actually have a hatchery. So this is a... I'm not sure what exactly to call this expand. It's a fast expand by our Zerg player. And we do actually have Socke scout this, and unfortunately he wasn't able to block it like he likes to. We're going to be having the cybernetics coming down and a second gas. So usually what the second gas means is generally, like, say if you're scouting a Protoss player and you see that they take a quick second gas like this, generally it means that they're going for something techy. There's really a variety of openings they could have, perhaps a robotics or Stargate opening, or even quick rush to blink stalkers. The problem with Protoss is just so many units are so gas heavy that you really have to get that 2 gas, but having it that early really just shows that they're going for something tech and quickly. I apologize for that noise in the background. We have our first Zealot coming out quickly, and it won't do too much damage because we already have 2 Lings out from the Zerg player, but it should be able to stop that Pro from getting killed. He's going to try to do some damage to his hatchery, like right as it first comes down. The problem is that there's a Queen here, and a Queen I believe can kill a Zealot one-on-one. In fact, I'm certain it can. And so, plus those 2 Lings, that Zealot won't do anything, even though he's still chasing it. We have a Stalker come out, which has the potential for damage, but I wouldn't expect too much out of it. We have some pylons placed up here. There's a chance that we'll see perhaps a Stargate opening, but I highly doubt it, especially since because they're close by air spawning positions. It would be very easy for Ret to scout it, but at the same time it would be very easy to pull it off because the air spawnings are so close. Trying to do some damage with the Stalker and Zealot. Thankfully he micros them successfully and doesn't get any killed. He's trying to get a Zergling kill. In fact, he gets it down there. This Queen is not going to die though. Now we have 8 Lings out. Really, I think that these 2 units have a high chance of getting killed. Or if nothing else, there will be a micro battle to get them away. Since there's no metabolic boost, this Stalker should be able to escape unless it gets surrounded, which it nearly did there. We actually have the expansion coming down for aTnSocke right now. And he's chrono boosting out units, just sentries just to stop any aggression, because that's what he's susceptible to right now. The Stalker's going to escape, but very narrowly. He still has 6 Lings following him. He's going to try to kite them, won't do much. Thankfully, they have the sentry here that will be able to help out. I think if you can get the Stalker up and then force fill the ramp, he should be able to hold it off. Well, he'll certainly be able to hold off. He'll be fine. We might actually be seeing a quick third going down for LiquidRet, just because he saw this fast expand in exchange from the Protoss player. It's generally a good thing for the Zerg player to either take a third base or get up some units fast and do some damage before the Protest player has too much defense. So we're actually there. We're starting to see some tech. We have a Twilight Council going down. We could be seeing some Templar out of this, some quick Templar, or we could be going for Charge or Blink. Blink is always a useful option to consider against a Zerg player, just because it's so effective against a lot of the units. Like, it can get you out of a surround from Zerglings, or you can Blink Micro if you're against a Roach army, and especially against Mutas, it's very good to Blink it out. We have a third base down here for LiquidRet. Some tech that we're seeing from him. We have an Evo Chamber coming down soon, and a Roach Warren. So we're going to be seeing some Roaches. This shouldn't be too big of a deal for Socke, because he has a lot of sentries and one Stalker, which isn't very much. If he can get out some more Stalkers, Roaches won't be too big of a threat. If I were him, I think a cannon might help to defend if he knew that this was coming, just because I don't think he's going to have a lot of units pretty soon, but we're going to see what he's going to be doing with this Twilight Council, actually. I'm not quite sure. And a Dark Shrine is my answer, right next to it. So we're going to see if we can catch the Zerg player off guard. Does he have a lair yet? In fact, the Zerg player hasn't even started researching a lair yet, so he might actually be able to get away with this for now, unless he scouts pretty soon. And this is actually a very useful location to put your tech on this map, because when they fly an Overlord, they're going to fly it through on this side over here, and it's going to take them a while to get over this ramp, and even if they get Zerglings into your natural, they have to run up your ramp and get to the top before they can have vision of up here. So it's actually a very effective place to hide your DTs. We see he's already mining from both gases down here, which is very good because you're going to want a lot of gas for those DTs. They're very gas costly. They cost 125 gas and 125 minerals. So really, you have to be mining all the gas you can. And this Overlord might actually be able to spot it. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's look, actually. And he is going to be seeing it very soon. And he spots the DT Shrine. So I can imagine, and of course he already has his lair done. So once this finishes, he's going to have Overseers out immediately. We have 3 DTs coming down already, though. So he might have some trouble trying to defend this. He has a Spore Crawler coming down. Won't be finished for a little bit. I think these 3 DTs might be able to do some sufficient damage before he can get that lair done and that Spore Crawler completed. And, oh, thankfully, LiquidRet takes these Roaches and he puts them in a whole position on the ramp so the DTs couldn't get up there and do any damage. Because what can be really effective is if you killed some of their tech with your DTs before they can stop you. Then really, for Zerg player, once you kill their tech buildings, they can't build anything. So it's very effective. We're going to be seeing one attack coming out of the Protoss player. For the Zerg player, I don't believe we have any upgrades yet, but we're going to be having missile attacks level 1 coming out. I believe that benefits the Roaches, correct me if I'm wrong. And we're also going to have the Glial Reconstruction. And I am not 100% certain. I believe that affects the Roaches. I'm not certain, actually. I need to learn my Zerg upgrades better. We're going to be having some more gateways coming down, of course. I believe we have 6 gateways now. This is all standard. He's chrono boosting out his upgrade just because against the Zerg player, upgrades make a huge difference. You want to try to get him out as fast as you can. He's got 5 sentries in the Zell over here, and sentries I think was a good choice, but he really doesn't have that big of an army right now. In fact, if you look at the army supply, he actually has 24. Oh, that's because he's warped in some more stock in the sentries. Zerg player's a bit more, although surprisingly, oh, I am backwards. His army is now 26. The Zerg player has a slightly bigger lead on the workers, but for the most part, they're fairly even right now. That DT finally is taken out. It did a lot of damage before the Overseer was finally able to catch it. Those DTs actually did quite a lot of damage. Units killed. We have 5 killed for Ret and 38 killed for the Protoss player, which is very significant. If you can kill 20 workers and 38 units, then you know that your DTs were effective, because that red bar there is very minimal. We have another DT moving out here, just scouting for 4th and 5th base, which is always a good idea. I believe that we're... Okay, now we're researching ground weapons level 2. So, he has 1 attack. He has actually a lot of stalkers right now. Did he ever research Blink? I don't... Yes, he did. So he has Blink right now. There's robotics coming down. this DT is going to try to sneak up here and do some damage while he engages in the front with these units, which is always a very good idea. He's going to be actually expanding down here any moment. He has the minerals too, so I can expect fairly soon he's going to expand. He might have not... I'm not sure why he hasn't expanded yet. Roaches up here will be scouting to see if there's anything over there. And from our robotics, we're going to be having an observer coming out just to go scout quickly. We're going to see exactly where this is directed. Okay, just to the front of his base. He's going to be moving out now and also sending a DT in from the side. This DT could be to do minimal damage, but I think the main purpose of it was just to scout, see where he's positioned and stuff. Because of the creep spread, the Zerg player will see this army coming and see the composition, although he won't know about Blink yet. Finally, this third has been taken, and he's walled it off with gateways. I believe that's a complete wall off. Usually a good idea to put some cannons behind it, just in case they try to run some Zerglings up there or whatnot. 2 roaches down here are still just sitting there like goobers. Apologize for the ums. We're having nothing coming out of the robotics facility right now, but this observer's up here and seeing that there's Hydras. I think Hydras is an interesting reaction because we haven't seen any actual air tech, but Hydras can be very effective, again, because of their DPS that they do. Unless you're trying to run away, then they're very weak. But when you're engaging, especially if you have other units supporting the Hydras, they do a lot of damage. So if you might want to blink these stalkers away once he engages, just to stop the lings from getting a nice surrounding, eating away at the stalkers. Because the stalkers are going to be very useful against the roaches and the Hydras. You don't want to waste them on the Zerglings. We have an overseer up here, which is always a good idea. Only 3 bases from the Zerg player, but we see he's mining from all of his gases. So this is a good idea because he has his Spire coming down soon, and I believe Hydras aren't super gas heavy, but they do require some gas. But I think that mining from all 6 gases will be very useful once he gets that Spire. If he tries to go for mutas or corruptors or broodlords, they're all gas heavy, so I think that this is a wise thing to do just for the Zerg player to get that much gas, just so we can get some better tech. This third base is up and running. We're going to be having both gas guys just coming in soon. And we have 3 cannons up here actually, so this should be starting defense if the Zerg player tries to run up and break this. We have an engagement slightly coming down here. If we look at the army supply, we can see that the Zerg player is 91 size army to 98 actually for the Protoss player. It's fairly even. There's 5 more workers for LiquidRet, which really won't make a big difference. They're on the same amount of bases, and as a Zerg player, you really don't want to be comfortable on the same amount of bases as a Protoss player. You always want to have more. We're going to be having some Colossus come out soon for aTnSocke, which I think will help deal these Hydras, especially since we have quite a lot of them right now. In fact, if we 21 Hydras, so that Colossus has to walk the long way to get through, but it will help a lot. These Zerglings are going to be really annoying for the Stalkers just because you have to be careful that those Zerglings don't get a nice run, because they can do a lot of very quick damage to the Stalkers. That one class I think will be very effective, especially since we have no Corruptors out yet, and we're not producing any either. The upgrades on the Protoss right now, we have 2 attack, and that's all. We have Thermal Lance almost done though, and we have another Colossus almost done as well. The Zerg player split up his army quite a bit. He's up here trying to poke it, it's not really doing anything because of those 3 cannons. Up here we have some good positioning, but some Zerglings running for the flank on the side, which will do a lot of damage. Those were decent force fields, but it would have been more effective to force field those Hydras away so the Colossus could do a lot more pure damage. But it looks like the Protoss player will purely win this battle. Overseer getting away, lucky for him. We actually have a few units for the Zerg player sitting here to the side and over here. I think if he would have had his army grouped up a bit better, because while he had the nice flank, he still had a lot of units that weren't attacking. And now with the second Colossus coming in for aTnSocke, I think it'll be doing a lot of damage. These Hydras are just going to get torn apart. Right now, if we look at the army supply, it's 90 supply for the Protoss player and 55 for the Zerg player. And as I said in the last game, a Protoss army, an equal supply of the Zerg army, will always be stronger. So I think this is a really bad situation for the Zerg player, just because there isn't much he can do. I think he should have taken another base, just because he's on the same amount of base as a Protoss player, and it's never a comfortable position to be, just because Zerg units aren't as strong, and while they're cheaper, a Protoss, you need to be on more bases as Zerg to produce more in order to compete with them effectively. So I think that is the main reason that LiquidRet lost this. This is from the DreamHack 2011 Summer Tournament. This is Stormcloud StarCraft 2, and thank you for watching.